I am delighted to introduce to you Pastor Wendy Buckley, who has been served as the chair of our Feed the Roots for Leadership campaign.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am so glad that so many of you stayed to hear about Feed the Roots. As Bishop said, I'm Wendy Buckley. I serve in the western portion of the state outside of Buffalo, and Feed the Roots is a synod-wide capital appeal to support camps or outdoor ministries, campus ministry, which you just heard about, and seminary scholarships. It is a 3-year appeal program, some general fund, some designated fund, that we are now in year 2. But because of your support, and I want to thank you for your support, funds are already being allocated. This past year, $230,131 was already allocated. We have 3 new Fund for Leaders scholarships. Neil, do you have the pictures?
There they are.
Okay. Josiah Armstrong, who is at Philadelphia.
From Hope Arcade.
Okay. Jay Berry is our next one. Maybe. Okay. And he also is at Philadelphia. And
Atonement, Syracuse.
And Fritz Fowler, who is at Gettysburg.
From St. Peter's in Verona.
Unfortunately, they were not able to be with us because they're all on clinical pastoral education, and all the pastors know about that one. ELCA, their mortgage was paid down by $50,000, and that allowed them to refinance that water system that they were required to put in at a lower interest rate, which was huge. So far, we have $26,000 to disperse in 2012. We are hoping for more, and that depends on you, because it is such an important appeal for the leadership of our young people for the future. Now, you've heard about our spokespersons, Jeff Silvernail, who has for 2 years ridden across the Synod in support of Feed the Roots, is here to tell you a little bit about his stories.
Well, I wasn't the only one. I want to introduce some of the riders that were with us. Pastor Amber Malone, Pastor Josh McGuffey, Pastor Jeff Kane, and unfortunately, Pastor Mark Fricky just left the building, so he's unable to be with us here right now. Came in on Thursday, and the question I kept getting over and over again was, "You made it?" What are they trying to tell me? But I'm happy to report this year, our statistics, we had 6 flats. We had 0 crashes, so we didn't shed any blood for the Synod. We decided to let Jesus' blood suffice and not add our own. We managed to lose Jeff Kane only 1 time. But it was an interesting thing. We were in Niagara Falls doing a little sightseeing, and we all have cell phones, of course, and Jeff Kane called my cell phone, only it was a cell phone I used to have when I was in Western New York. So he had a nice conversation with someone saying that the falls was looking really pretty, but he didn't know where I was.
I didn't know either.
But along the way, we stopped and we shared the story in congregations. We got to stop at LCLC, talk with Lee Lindemann and the staff there. We got to stay the evening in the house, which is where the University of Buffalo campus peer ministers will be staying, and we got to meet 2 of them. So that was really exciting. Here's something that I noticed all along the way. As we went through Western New York from Tim Hortons to Tim Hortons.
It's about 3 blocks.
Yeah, every 3 blocks. We had a lot of stops. We got 3 questions over and over again. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? And why are you doing it? As we think about being mobile for mission, not just about Feed the Roots, but all of us being mobile for mission, those 3 questions can guide us in our stories as we share the good news of Jesus. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? And why are you doing it? So thank you for your support. Thank you for the support of the Feed the Roots of Leadership campaign. And now I'm going to kick it over to Pastor Jeff Hedin.
My name is Jeff Hedin. I'm in St. Paul's in Pittsford, but I'm a part of the Feed the Roots committee. I would ask all who are on the committee to please rise at this moment and just say thank you. Several of you have been participating in very special ways throughout our Synod, and certainly glad you are. We heard already that the tent we know as the church has been taken away from us. And certainly as we are a church who wants to be turned outward and to serve an Easter hope as resurrection people who walk together and change lives, we also recognize that lives have been changed in many ways through what was already happening. We are in the second year of this program, which means we have many lives yet to change and much more to do. Sadly, I became more involved in the program of Feed the Roots when Wendy got quite ill last year, and I'm so grateful that her health has been restored in many ways. So please, thank God. During that time, Glenn Schoonover and I had several conversations. He's on my cell phone as a speed dial number, and Glenn would call me at least 3-4 times a week. We would talk about strategies, we would talk about people to contact, we would talk about what is next. We had another setback. Sadly, on Easter weekend, Glenn died in his sleep and made a major setback for this program. We are people who want to change lives, however, and as those of us who have stories to tell have had our lives changed, personally I can talk about all three aspects of Feed the Roots. In February of 1970, I was involved in the campus ministry in Ithaca, New York. I sat down for the free food they were offering, which was the big appeal for me as a student. Across the table from me was a young blonde woman from Ithaca College who 3.5 years later would marry me. Lives get changed when you go to campus ministry. But I think many of you who have had campus ministry in your lives have been changed, so I'm going to ask anybody who's had a part in campus ministry in their life, please stand at this moment. So many of you. You may be seated. You've certainly heard about the 5 campus ministries in our area, and I'm certainly grateful to all who have done so much already, because certainly that is where the future leadership and is dependent upon the vitality of campus ministry. But outdoor ministry is another part of who we are. We identify with our major camps at Vanderkamp and Lake Chautauqua Lutheran Center, and certainly I've been a part of that camping experience.
And the camps out east.
The camps out east are not to be forgotten. I understand that. And they constantly remind us they are not to be forgotten. But those of us who have confirmation camp upcoming this year, or have gone to retreat centers, or have done something with camping, lives have been changed. Please, those of you who have ever done something with a camp in our Synod, please stand at this time.
Whoa. Thank you.
You see how many lives have been affected. That blonde, beautiful young lady who married me so long ago also helped pay my way through seminary, which was probably a good reason to get married before you go to seminary. But not everybody comes out of seminary without debt. And certainly that is what Feed the Roots is trying to help as well, so that seminary can be made available to all. So I'm going to ask anybody who has ever heard a sermon from a pastor that has gone to seminary, please stand at this time. Some of you aren't standing. That's kind of interesting. But you can see the need, and you can understand the purpose, and we need you to help us be that resurrection people who walk together and change lives. We have had brochures available for all congregations. If there is somebody here who has not heard of Feed the Roots in your congregation yet, please find your pastor and ask why not. Because it is a program for all of us, because all of us have been affected in some way by what this program is trying to accomplish. But there is a challenge. If we are to continue to do this and do it well, and do as we believe God desires us to do, we need names. One of the things that Glenn Schoonover was going to be doing this spring was connecting with several people in our synod. There are people who will continue to do that, but we need more names so that you can help us make sure we connect with the right people who also see their opportunity to change lives through the gifts that they have. So please, Wendy and I will be available if you want to call us, contact us today, do something so that we can make sure that those people get contacted. We've been showing the video. Is there time to continue that?
You want to watch the video?
Watch the video, is it available?
I think we have time. Do you have it available, Neil? I know you showed it earlier this morning as people were gathering.
The video is available to every congregation.
Again, thank you for your partnership in the gospel, and may we work together to feed the roots.
Feed the Roots of Leadership is a vision to support seminary education, campus ministry, and outdoor ministry in both the eastern and western parts of the Upstate New York Synod. By investing in future leaders today, we ensure a bright future for tomorrow.
Feed the Roots is important for so many reasons. I've been out of seminary 10 years and I bear a huge financial burden where I have to limit what calls I take and the churches that I serve because of this huge monthly payment I have from student loans. If we could support our seminarians to the point where they don't have that financial burden, they could get out there and they could serve the churches that really need them.
I'm Becky Lorman. I am a LSTC Master's in Divinity candidate for ministry. I want to be a pastor for probably a lot of reasons, and I'll figure that out as we go probably in the next 4 years. Nothing has really changed my life like the love of God that I've seen growing up in the church as a camp goer, as a youth group kid. Leadership development is just pivotal. I don't think that it's just for the goal of being a pastor, but so that we can have a church that everybody knows how to lead something, everybody knows how to participate, and so that happens if you invest in campus ministries. It's just so awesome to go through these sorts of processes and know that we're not just supported with prayers and with words, but also financially.
We rejoice that this campaign will help raise the funds so that leaders will be able to serve in upstate New York freely and with joy and with passion and not be encumbered with debt.
Lutheran campus ministry is really one of the major hopes for the future of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America.
My name is Emmanuel Vision, and I'm a student at Syracuse University. I'm a sophomore and I'm a resident of Haiti. And I became involved with campus ministry after the earthquake that happened in January 12, 2010. They were asking for hygiene kits, and I talked to Pastor Gail and I said I wanted to be part of it, and that's how everything started. I was so happy that I saw that many different people are signing up, giving money, and some of them probably don't even know what Haiti is. Knowing that people still care about others, even though they don't know them, they don't know where they come from, but they still care because they are people, and then some people just love others, and then that makes me feel so great that other people decided to help.
If congregations don't support organizations like this one, like LCM, there isn't going to be a Lutheran church. You're only going to get back what you put in. So if you support these organizations, they're going to be grateful and they're going to want to stay interested with these congregations and with the activities of that congregation.
Jesus called us to be servants, but in order to be effective servants, we have to keep our eyes fixed on Him. By bringing Christ to the campus, that's what we're hoping we encourage students to do. Keep their eyes fixed on Christ. It's a huge resource here. If we don't continue in this ministry in this place, we can lose that.
I'm Jordan Rosine, and I'm a student at Syracuse University. Lutheran campus ministry is a vehicle for me to explore my spiritual calling as it relates to God's purpose for my life, and to create the opportunity for me to help others perhaps experience God for the first time, which is, I think, a worthwhile cause.
I think outdoor ministry allows folks to really explore what it means to live in a Christian community. It does it in a way that I don't think can necessarily happen back in a congregation. Outdoor ministry is focused on the work of the church.
I think there's more exposure to the Word of God in a week of camp than most Sunday schools get in an entire year. They see what a prayer life, what a life in Christ can be like, and that's one of the great things about an experience here is that kids get that intensely.
Yeah, outdoor ministry has been one of the biggest influences on my life. Growing up with it, it was great to see strong men and women of faith above me, and just constantly looking to them as an example. I got that every summer.
My name is Megan Robbins. I'm a counselor here at ELCA. This is where I felt my relationship with God, and so I'm sure it's done that for thousands of other kids. Kids need to come to camp, and it needs to be supported so they can have that relationship. God created this place. I think that a lot of people would be lost without it.
Thank you, Lord, for giving this food we need for living. So bless us while we eat it, because we really need it. Amen. Amen.
I think outdoor ministry has a really important impact both on young people, but also on families. And it's something that the church really needs to be committed to.
They are the folks who 15, 20 years from now will be the church council members. They'll be the folks on synod councils. They'll be the folks on boards of nonprofit organizations. And outdoor ministries has that extra responsibility of having youth when they are formative. We build leadership skills, help them understand who they are as a person, who God's called them to be, and empower them to try those in safe, structured environments so that when they do move on into college, into adult life, they will have had seeds planted here at Outdoor Ministries that will make a difference and will be needed in the future church.
Feed the Roots for Leadership campaign is a capital campaign that we've designed in upstate New York in order to assist the ministries that are really the core work that we're trying to do in raising up leaders for the future of this church. We are fully aware that outdoor ministries, we have 2 of them, Lake Chautauqua Lutheran Center and Vanderkamp, and our campus ministries, and we have 5 of those across the Synod, as well as the seminaries that we work with to train up leaders, are the key places where we identify, nurture, train, develop gifts for leadership in the church. Without the financial support that's come regularly through mission support, we simply haven't been able to increase or even keep pace with the kinds of needs that those ministries have. So we know there are resources out there. We know that God has blessed us with these ministries. They are amazing ministries. We have more candidates for ministry than we've ever had in the history of the Synod. Young people who are getting it. 80% or more of them come through our camping and campus ministries. And then we need a place to send them, to train them. That's why we want to support seminaries. So we're just trying to find ways to tap into the resources that we know are out there, but that aren't coming to us through the regular channels of mission giving through the congregation, to support the amazing work that's already being done. Pastor Buckley.
I had a request for some numbers as I was leaving the podium. And just so you know, right now we have pledges of $753,000, $674. And of that, there are pledges to agencies directly, because remember, this can be, some people are giving to the campaign as a whole, and allowing their gifts to be used where they are needed the most. And others are requesting designated giving, which is one of the things that we did build into it because of the request. And of those, there are pledges of $344,000 to agencies directly. So that's where we are.
Thank you.
But obviously, we need your help. 2.4 is within our reach. We just have to work for it.
And again, I just want to emphasize that we aren't stockpiling as the money comes in. We are turning that around as quickly as possible. We have seminarians who are going to be receiving funds this year. We have Camp who's helping to pay down their debt. It's amazing the work that's already being done, thanks to you and your generosity. We're hoping you'll keep it up.